everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. And once again, my table here is kind of set up interestingly. I'm not going to tell you what this piece is. If you've been on my Facebook page, you will see what this is going to turn out to be. If you haven't, then this is going to be a surprise when we get it done. I've already made one of these. Again, I'm working on the formula for using the ceramic resin to water ratio for filling up these molds. And I might be onto something, but I'm not saying anything about that because I just want to keep doing a couple of run-throughs before I share what I have maybe, hopefully, figured out. Anyway, the reason this is set up the way it is because this mold separates out a little bit. We've had other molds that have done that. Like the pressure on the mold is too much, and it's not that I don't think there's anything really wrong with the silicone mold itself. It's just the pressure is pushing things out. And therefore, again, I'm sort of makeshifting how I can keep this so that the bottom isn't pushed out. Because I really don't want it pushed out. I'd like it to be more, if anything, pushed in a little bit. When I did this the first time, this popsicle stick actually moved up because there's not really much to hold it. The other one seemed to hold on its own on the other side. That's why this is sitting here, because if this starts to pop up, then I can very carefully just push this up over. And this little lip here, the handle, because it broke, the little piece off the bottom broke off. So I can use this. I don't have another one on the other side, so I'm being very fortunate or hoping that I won't have an issue on this side. If I do, then I'll just cut out and figure it out off of camera so you don't have to watch as me, scrambling to keep this from sort of going out. I mean, if it does, it does, but I prefer it didn't. Now, this also makes it challenging because I can't really bang it around. So I'm going to have to be really careful pouring in this ceramic resin. I did okay with the first one I did, but of course I got to bounce it around, and then it wasn't until I got to the top that everything started to sort of pull away from it. So that could be a bit of an issue for me with this one because I don't want to start banging it around and mess with the popsicle sticks. Anyway, so we'll have to see. So I've been debating on doing this piece in blue like I already have, or purple, and I'm kind of leaning a little bit toward purple, but I might put a tiny amount of blue in it as well to make the color more interesting. We have 347 grams of ceramic resin and 115 grams of water, and I want to get, which I don't have, can you believe it? I don't have my mixers in here, so I'm going to put you on a quick pause so I can go get that. All right, so I have my mixers back. That's always helpful. Now, I'm trying to think, I believe, we'll put some purple, we'll put it in the water. And of course, this is going to be a little challenging for you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So let me just reverse these out. And there. So because there's quite a bit of the ceramic resin powder, I'm going to be somewhat generous with my colorant, and we can always add in a little bit more. I'll do the sky blue. I'll just put 3 drops of that in. And I guess if I really want to get adventurous, then what I can do is once I've got this into the ceramic resin, I can then add just to put some swirls in if I want. But I'm not sure I really want to do that with this piece. To me, this piece more lends itself to being like one color, but again, I only got some of the water in there. Yay, look at me go. So it lends itself to being one color, but it doesn't have to be. So that's a pretty color. Let's get that over here so you can see it. Of course, we know it's going to fade. All right, let's get this. Let's mix it up. Okay, so that's a really pale color right now. So I think I'm gonna add some more into it. I think what we might do though is we'll just use the purple in here. We'll put a couple of drops in, and then I'm actually going to see if I can't swirl. I'm going to give this piece a bit of a swirl if I can. And I need to just be given a second here. I'll be right back. Hey there. All right, let's just get this going. And we will add a little bit of extra color in there. And then swirl it around. And then we'll see what we can come up with if we just swirl it in there, right? All right, let's get pouring and see. So that's what it looks like in there right now. And we'll just see how it goes. As I whisper that, we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of pouring that a little faster than I wanted to. But that's okay. And like I said, I'd really like to be able to bang this around. I think what I'm going to see about doing is for some of these taller pieces, I'm going to see about getting some sort of container that's high enough, and I'll go out and buy some more. Like I've got rice that I can use, but I don't think I have enough. I want to see about getting a high enough container that I can surround this by rice, and then I really have, oops, all right, that went south. Then I really have less chance of, okay, so that pushed it out too far. See, that's what I mean about this side. It really does have a mind of its own on this side. The other side seems to be better. That's why I don't have it. Well, and I have nothing else to support it really. Oops. So there we go on that side. So I'm going to have to find something to push that down. And get this poured. And I've got some left over at the bottom. Yeah. So I think that's my best bet, is really to find a container that'll hold these, so I can stop, trying to, have to push things in all the time, because that's a little frustrating having to do that. I don't like that happens. So I just want to bring over because I've got a little bit left over, and then we'll and then we'll figure the rest of this out. Yeah, I think my best bet is really to get a container, because this gets frustrating after a while. All right, so that needs to come. All right, we're going to take you off. We're going to push you down. So you can see how that's bulging out. Yeah, I need to put something, I need to weight that down a little bit. So I see about this, which is going to slide, but if I have some patience, I can get it sort of stuck. So we're not going to be, our shape is not going to be all the best on this. So Natalie's going to go out and find herself a container or something that I can do this better, right? Because that's important to me. I want these to be, contained so that you can see everything. And so I'm not trying to, build something each time I do it. But when you see this mold, then be aware that you may have to support it. Maybe it's just mine that needs supporting, but just be aware of this. So this, will just let this sit and do its thing. I have a air bubble over here. Nope, it's not an air bubble. I have just something in it. No, I've sunk it down now. Anyway, so we'll let this sit up for, you know, as much time as it takes. You know me, I usually let things go a little longer than they may need to. And when it's ready to come out of the mold, then we'll see how it looks and you will know what it is. I'll see you in a bit. Before we take this out of the mold, I just wanted to share with you something. A while ago on a couple of different channels, I had seen people who had these shadow swap pan products, and I think they had gotten them off of Amazon. I happened to be in Dollarama the other day and saw them, and I thought, well, you know what? I want to see how well these will work with my mica brushes for cleaning them out. Up until now, I've been using this scouring brush for them. I think they're probably similar. I haven't taken this out, so let's just take that out and have a look at it and see. I got to get my big X-Acto knife here. See how much of a difference there might be in the texture. I had thought of buying one on Amazon, and then I basically had forgotten about it. But I was in the Dollarama and was looking for other things, and I saw this and I thought, well, you know, let's have a boo at it. So yeah, I think the texture on this is a lot rougher than what this is. This has got more of a smoother feel to it. And let's take one of my probably relatively dirty brushes. This one might work. Okay. And you know, maybe it's the pores in it that are the difference between my scouring pad, but I'll have to give this a go and test it out. And then the other thing, I think this lid comes off. I say that and then probably can't get it off. Yeah, there we go. It's starting to come off now. All right, so that you can cover it up. And then I'm feeling that maybe, can we get this out? Yeah, we can pull this out and then clean it at any time. So that might actually prove helpful for some of the brushes I have in my other room that I use for my cards and some of the other artwork that I do. Anyway, I'll have to see if this is better than this. I just thought randomly I was going to buy this and not bother with this, but since they're there, and it cost me $2. So again, Dollarama is a Canadian store, and I know people have found these down in the States, and if this works as well as people have said it will, I'll maybe buy another one for my other room and see if I can't, you know, use it to clean my other brushes a little bit. Right, I took these two pieces out earlier, so we'll sit and let them dry, obviously. The one thing I noticed about this was I have an air bubble over here, which I don't like air bubbles, but whatever. And I'm also going to work at getting a container that's big enough to house this, that I can put rice around to keep it in place. Having pieces that you're trying to makeshift, it doesn't work for me. And you just never know with the mold whether or not it's going to cause an issue. Okay, so I figure if I can get it in, and then what I can do is I should be able to, you know, tap it around a little bit to avoid air bubbles. Because I couldn't with this one with the way it was set up, which wasn't ideal. So if we can support the mold, that will really be really helpful. All right. There we go. So here is what we have. I think this is a cute, I know I say this about, you know, other molds, but this is really cute. And the reason I was either going to do it in blue, not necessarily purple, was because of the fact that I knew they were blue jeans, or they look like blue jeans to me. And they have some really cute flowers. I did get I think I told you I got this off of Temu. And it's got some really pretty flowers. You could, obviously, again, I like color. You could do this white and then color these. However, I think to myself, I can do some really cool things with this. And then probably what I would do for a sealer, I have from Michael's I want to call it, I think it's called a clay sealer. I'm not sure if I've showed it on the channel or not, that we can spray it. Now, the clay sealer, I believe, is a gloss. I haven't seen it, or they haven't come out with it in a satin yet. It comes down to what your tastes are. Do you like something that's got a bit of a shine to it, or do you just like it blinged out with glossy? Because some of the sealers I have are very much glossy. But here are our pants on a box. Like, you could have so much fun decorating this piece. And you could do it in whatever color you want. Now, I'm noticing on the sides, and maybe it's meant to go that way, but again, I'm wondering if I have this properly supported. I'm not sure if you're going to, so maybe you can tell that it's bowed out here. And I'm not thinking so much it should be. Not that it matters. Again, this is one of those pieces that really doesn't matter too much if it has expanded out a little bit. It's just me being too picky. It's got a really nice deep indent in this for you to put something. So that's, I don't know. So it's that deep, like that's your depth on the inside of that, and that's quite deep, which is really kind of cool. So depending on what you wanted to put in there, it's got a lot of depth, which is really neat. I'm almost wondering if you could put something in the center here. What am I thinking? I just have a vision of putting something in the middle. So let me get, this isn't really going to, give me a second. Give me a second. I don't know why I'm thinking this, and hopefully the idea will come to me, but I just wonder if you put something in the center like that. Obviously, I have an idea for something going around this, although right now I haven't got a clue, but I figure if I'm coming up with an idea like that, there's got to be something. Or if you were to put a plant in it and you had something that liked to climb, you could, you know, support something in the dirt that would allow like a vine or something to climb up it. Yep, that's all I got for right now. That's the best I can do for you. Usually I've got all kinds of ideas, but I'm going to see about finding a proper container for this and some of my other molds that I can put rice around so that we can support it a little bit better. As far as air pockets, bubbles go, I think this actually turned out fairly decently. I mean, I've got one little one over here, and I've got this one here, but it's not showing on this side, which is nice. Now, I do have this little indent right here. I'll have to look at the other pair I've made and see if they've got that as well. But you could have a lot of fun, even if you left the jeans alone and just focused on the flowers, the buttons on the pockets, you know, the pockets themselves, and maybe decorated the box it's sitting on a little bit. You could, I think it's just adorable. I'm really pleased I bought that. It's turning out to be a really good mold. And like most of them that are 3D, it does have some lines on it, but yeah, I think that's what kind of makes it fun. Makes it, it could be antique-ish. It's sort of country-ish, and, you know, things in the country are a little well-worn. But I think you could have a lot of fun with this. And again, it's sort of one of those pieces I bought that I thought maybe my sister might like for putting flowers in. Again, when you're working with something this size, you're maybe limited to what you could put in there. But I also, so the other thing I think about is putting in, but I have them. One of the other molds I have has the beakers. They're small, the round beakers. And I just wonder if you, I don't know how many you can maybe place in there, depending on the size of them, and then put natural flowers. And when I say natural, so you could put roses in it or carnations and just sort of have them, you know, sort of sticking out the top or something like that. I don't have small ones, but I'm pretty sure you could get different sizes and then you could just put different flowers in there. Or you just use this for putting knickknacks in. pencils in. Some of our makeup brushes could go in something like this. So like that. Markers, pens, paintbrushes would work. I'm trying to look around to see what else I can find, but if I come up with anything extraordinary that might be useful or helpful, I will let you know. Otherwise, that is it for this video. Again, I really appreciate everyone who's showing up, anyone who's leaving me comments. I will mention to you before I let you go, as far as the math on this goes, and I have misplaced my piece of paper. It's probably on the far side of the room, and yes, it is. Right. So using the formula, the number it's giving me for the ceramic resin, when I break it down, isn't correct. What I am finding, and I'm going to keep playing with this, so don't hold me to it, is we have what the water is. We're multiplying that by a factor. We're getting a number. That number seems to be the number that I need to use for the amount of ceramic resin powder. And then figuring out the water that goes with that number. So I used a little bit too much on this, but whatever number I said at the beginning, if I had used a couple of grams less, it would have been enough and I wouldn't have gotten these extra pieces that I did. And it's not a big deal that I have. I want to keep practicing with that to see if when you come up with the number, so we did how much water was times the 0.65, I got a number. If that's the number I should be working with and just figuring out how much water goes with that. I'll keep playing with that. I will let you know if there's a repetitive theme and if that is working. And if it is, then maybe we have our formula finally, which would be brilliant. I thought I would share that with you. I'm looking forward to seeing how this looks. I'll post pictures of this on my Facebook page once it has fully dried. And I have to admit, I'm kind of liking the brighter bits of purple, and we'll see just how bright those come out once this is dried up. So thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing and commenting. I really appreciate it. I hope you're being creative with whatever it is you're doing. And until our next video, take care and bye for now.